Welcome to the Dr. Wyatt Show podcast. For developing a long-lasting, happy relationship is the status symbol to achieve, and following my tools is one path to help get you there. I'm your host, Dr. Wyatt Fisher, a licensed psychologist specializing in couples counseling. If you're ready to resolve your resentments and rekindle your love, set up a free consultation to learn more about how my ER Marriage Intensive can restore your relationship in 90 days. The link is in the show notes. So the first step to saving your marriage is you have to let your partner know you want to make changes. When your partner is feeling hopeless, it's because you have certain behaviors they don't like, behaviors that they've brought up through the years that you've probably ignored. They've probably requested change. They've probably told you certain things you do that they don't care for, and you've probably dismissed their needs on some level. And so the very first thing you need to do if you want to save your marriage is you have to tell your partner you are committed to making changes. You have to tell them that you are serious, that you're going to put your actions where your words are, and that you are committed to improving your relationship by making the changes that they need to see. That's step one. The second step is you need to ask them for a list of their resentments toward you. Common categories of resentments can be communication, emotional intimacy, physical intimacy, addictions, parenting, finances, in-laws, uneven workload. The list goes on and on. So you need to ask them for a list of the resentments they have toward you. Now, you may also have resentments toward them. But in the beginning, if they're the ones who want a divorce, if they're the ones who are teetering and not sure if they can stay in the relationship, you got to start with resolving the resentments they have toward you, because they're not in a place right now to listen to the resentments you have toward them. They need to feel heard and validated on the resentments they have toward you. So you're going to start by asking them for a list of all the resentments they have toward you. The third thing you're going to do is use my Reunite tool to work through each of those resentments. But the Reunite tool is designed to help couples have conversations on hard topics that they otherwise would not be able to have. Most couples have resentments, and then they can't even talk about them without someone getting upset and flooded. So the Reunite tool is designed to help couples feel safe to talk through resentments. Think of it like bowling. You have the guardrails go down so that you don't go into the gutter. That's what the Reunite tool does for these conversations. Comment the word Reunite tool below, and I'll send you a link to an article that discusses all the steps to follow the Reunite tool. That's the first half of forgiveness, is just feeling like your partner gets it, that they're listening to you, that they're owning, they're empathizing, they're apologizing. And the Reunite tool provides that, because often if your partner has resentment, you don't know what to do. You don't know how to help them resolve the resentments toward you. And the worst thing you can do is tell them to get over it. That's not going to work. That's going to keep them stuck in that resentment. And so using the Reunite tool is a way to help them process through their hurt and resentment toward you. It's going to give them what they need, which is you listening well, you owning, you empathizing, you apologizing, and then finally making amends, which I'm going to get to in a second. So the Reunite tool is going to facilitate the process of forgiveness. It's going to facilitate the forgiveness of resentments. It's going to allow your partner, maybe for the first time ever, to really feel safe talking through the resentments toward you without you getting defensive. And this leads me to number 4, which is avoiding muddy water. Couples have problems with communication in their relationship because they have muddy water. Think about your friends for a second. There's no muddy water because all the water is clean and pure, because there's no resentments with friends. There's no unmet needs with friends. There's no unresolved conflict with friends. And therefore, when you're communicating with your friends, it's clean water. You don't have communication problems. But when you get married and you're with a partner for a while, there's hurt feelings. There's unmet needs. There's unresolved conflict. And that muddies the water. So now when you're communicating with your partner, there will be digs, or there will be sarcasm, or there will be criticism slipped in to the day-to-day communication. And that's why you have communication problems with your partner. You have muddy water. So to improve your communication and to save your marriage, you have to address these resentments. They are the key to saving your marriage. They are the core issue that's blocking you and your spouse from getting close and connected again. And once you address these resentments and heal those resentments, the communication will automatically improve because you're cleaning out the water. You're purifying the water in your marriage because you're addressing all the resentments. When my wife and I were going through a hard time in our relationship, I had a lot of resentments toward her, and it created muddy water in our relationship. And because I had unresolved resentments, the way it would come out in our communication is I would be sarcastic. I would just slip in these subtle digs in our communication that she would then pick up on. And those digs and that sarcasm was coming from unresolved resentments I had in my heart toward her. So eventually, as we addressed and healed those resentments, those digs and that sarcasm went away automatically, which naturally improved our communication. So I'm sure you can relate to this. If you have unresolved resentments in your heart, it's going to muddy the waters. If your wife or your husband has unresolved resentment toward you, it's going to muddy the water in your communication. So you have to address those resentments so that you're dealing with clean water to filter the water, to purify it, and then your communication will get better. Okay, number 5 is making changes. If you want to save your marriage from divorce, you can't just tell your partner you want to change. You can't just tell them you're hoping that you're going to make some adjustments to your behavior in the future. You can't just tell them hopefully one day you'll get around to it. The name of the game is hope. Your partner needs to feel hope. Using the Reunite tool is going to help them feel some hope, because finally you're hearing them. Finally you're owning something. Finally you're empathizing and apologizing. So that is half the equation to forgiveness. But the other half, which is where you end with the Reunite tool, is making amends, making adjustments. That is the number one thing that's going to help save your marriage and prevent divorce, is when you learn to actually make changes. So once you work through the Reunite tool and you're listening to your partner's resentments toward you, at the end of it, you're going to brainstorm with your partner, what changes do I need to make? Now, when you're making changes, you have to make changes that are also going to work for you, or else they're not going to be sustainable. The last thing you want to do is go through the Reunite tool and then you don't make any changes. That's going to make your partner even more upset, even more resentful. And so when you get to making amends in the Reunite tool, you have to be very cautious with what you're committing to changing. You have to make sure those changes are going to also work for you. And then you need to give it all you got. You want to write down those changes on your phone. I encourage you to write down a partner cheat sheet, is what I call it, on your phone. And on that phone, under that list, you write down all the changes you're committing to making. And then every morning, when you're having your morning coffee, your morning tea, you pull out that partner cheat sheet, which is the list of all the things you say you're going to be working on, and you just meditate on it. Maybe just for 5 seconds. For 15 seconds, for 60 seconds. You look at it every morning so you're reminded, oh yeah, that's the adjustment I said I was going to make. Oh yeah, that's the edit I said I was going to start doing. Oh yeah, that's the shift of behavior I said I'm going to start working on. And as you do that, as you start making those small adjustments day after day, guess what's going to happen? First of all, your partner's resentment is going to go away. And second, they're going to start feeling hope, because hope is developed in marriage when you see your partner taking your concerns seriously and they start making some changes. When you start seeing them put in effort to make changes on the things that you care about, that helps you start to heal. That helps you start to feel hope that change is possible. Now, it's not about perfection. When you're trying to make changes for your partner, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to forget. You're going to backslide. You're going to make some errors. That's normal. But when that happens, you have to take ownership for that, apologize for that misstep, and then get back on track. Because it's not about perfection, but it is about progress. And what your partner needs to feel is that if they zoom out, they can see progress from you overall. Similar to the stock market. In the short run, there might not be a lot of progress, there might be a lot of ups and downs, but if you zoom out, the stock market has always gotten better since it started. And that's what you want your partner to feel with you. If they zoom out, do they see your progress? Do they see your strides? Do they see your improvements? If they don't, they're going to feel hopeless. If they do, they're going to feel hope. At the end of the day, the fastest path to saving your marriage and preventing divorce is asking your spouse, what are the top changes you want to see in me? And then you make the changes. End of story. If you do that, you're going to become an amazing partner. Your partner's going to feel hope, and they will naturally become more committed to you, because commitment follows feelings, whether we like it or not. If you're ready to resolve your resentments and rekindle your love, set up a free consultation to learn more about how my ER Marriage Intensive could rebuild your marriage in 90 days. The link is in the show notes. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the episode today, be sure to click the 5 stars and leave a review. I love getting reviews. It shows me people enjoy this podcast. It tells the algorithm to show this podcast to more couples so more relationships can get impacted. So if you've never left me a review on this podcast, I would really appreciate it if you did so today. And remember, your marriage is alive. If you care for it and nurture it, it will grow. If you deprive it and neglect it, it will wilt and die. The choice is up to you. Take care.